Hello! Today we are going to be examining non-suicidal self-injury and dissociation among young adult survivors of sexual abuse. This presentation is by Jack Behr, Savannah Hughbanks, and Dr. Sarah Bielik. The primary objective of this study is to explore the potential connections between NSSI and dissociation among young adult survivors of sexual abuse. We are describing non-suicidal self-injury as deliberate self-harming behaviors without suicidal intent, and dissociation as characterized by a disconnection between thoughts, identity, consciousness, and memory. Something we really want you to understand is the prevalence of NSSI and dissociation among adults and adolescents and young adults, stressing the need for this kind of research. The lack of research in this domain is incredibly astonishing, and so we're trying to bring to light the importance of bridging this gap to enhance our understanding of NSSI, dissociation, and sexual abuse. This study hopes to recognize the prevalence of dissociation among young adults and its significance in understanding the relationship between NSSI and dissociation within this specific demographic. This study's broader implications include advocating for increased awareness, research efforts, support mechanisms tailored to the unique needs of young adults, survivors of sexual abuse, ultimately aiming to address the interplay of NSSI, dissociation, and sexual abuse in their lives. So we did a comprehensive literature review for adult survivors of sexual abuse, NSSI, and dissociation using PsycInfo, and our main inclusion and exclusion criteria were having very clear inclusion criteria of if it was a peer-reviewed journal in publication and relevant to our research objectives, having the keywords NSSI, dissociation, and survivors of sexual abuse. Some key findings were included in this poster to provide insights in the potential connections of NSSI and dissociation among young adult survivors. The literature review found that NSSI and dissociation are prevalent among young adults who have survived sexual abuse, highlighting the need for further research. There is a clear correlation in many of the articles presented between NSSI, dissociation, and experiences of trauma, particularly sexual abuse. Understanding these correlations and how their combinations affect each other is crucial for developing effective interventions and support strategies for these survivors of this particular group. The review found a notable gap in the research, especially in the interplay between NSSI, dissociation, and sexual abuse in young adults. Addressing this gap is essential for advancing our understanding of the psychological phenomenon. The lit review overall really provided a nuanced relationship of NSSI and dissociation, suggesting that these behaviors are very common in young adult survivors of sexual abuse. And the high prevalence of NSSI and dissociation underscores the significance of understanding these experiences, especially in this demographic. Our findings provide valuable insight into the psychological measures underlying NSSI behaviors and highlight the role of dissociation in influencing that severity and frequency of the NSSI. By identifying gaps in the existing literature, our study really emphasizes the need for future investigations about how all three are related. As this wasn't a quantitative study, we weren't able to do any direct analysis on that. However, I think that it would be very beneficial to see in the future how all three are combined and sometimes activating of each other. Before finishing, if I give you one final take-home message, it would be that overall, our study highlights the importance of considering the complex interplay between NSSI and dissociation in the experiences of young adult survivors of sexual abuse. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation, and have a wonderful rest of your day.